Good morning. You might notice my little therapy dog Olive in the background there, sitting on the lounge. She's the reason for all the snoring in my YouTube clips, and she and I work together most days, so don't be surprised if you've heard her snoring. I wanted today to talk to the ins and outs of what makes a skillful parent, and the idea of how do we meet children right where they are. What are the essential ingredients in that? So if we start from the ground up by reflecting on who our children are in the broadest sense, kids, as we know, are whole and complete people with valid feelings, opinions, ideas, tastes, likes and dislikes. And their existence is just as rich and valid and complete as any of ours as adults. The difference between a child and an adult comes down to their developmental stage and the needs that come with it. And that's one of the reasons I'm offering you some strategies today around parenting kids in the middle years. So from that, we're talking 4 to 11 or 5 to 12, give or take. And although there are similarities in the ways that we engage with kids of all ages and stages, each developmental phase is particular and needs a more unique approach. To know what our kids need, we need to get to know their stage of development. What is their brain ready for? What aren't they yet able to do? And how can we appropriately help them in these areas? A classic example of adults misunderstanding kids' developmental competency levels, and look, we've all been there, so forgive yourself immediately, this is you, if this is you, is when kids are what I guess Justin Colson refers to as HALT, hungry, angry, lonely or tired. HALT kids often aren't able to emotionally deal with even the simplest tasks or situations. And in such a moment, placing the same expectations on our child that we would hold for them when they're not like this, or placing the same expectations on them that we would have for ourselves when we're tired or hungry or lonely or anxious, fails to understand their developmental ability. So understanding our kids' brains and forming realistic expectations of them is key to honouring their rights as kids. That is, honouring their right to be children. So I want to reassure you that this doesn't mean having flimsy, wishy-washy boundaries or being dominant or a helicopter parent, pandering to our kids' every complaint or demand. It's simply about adjusting our expectations based on their ability in order to help them grow. So there are some essentials here. So if we're thinking of some problems that we might be experiencing or some challenges that we've got, I would encourage you to choose an achievable goal. Pick your most frustrating behavioural challenge to concentrate on first. Don't try to change everything at once and work on one area before moving on to the next. And those areas might just be areas that you'd like to see different, whether it's the whingy voice or movement inside or gentle touch, those sorts of things. We want to be consistent and we want to try as much as possible to get all the children's caregivers on board so that you can all work together to back each other up. And I do want to acknowledge how tough this can be for single parents or those who don't have strong relationships with co-parents. Take on this tip as much as possible in your life and feel reassured to know that no matter what, your consistent parenting choices are making a world of difference in your child's life. I always say, persist, persist, persist. Select a few strategies from these ideas that you think would work for the specific challenge you're facing with your child and concentrate on putting your new ideas into place for at least 2 to even 4 weeks before you move the goalposts and add different goals. Always remember to be kind to yourself. For most parents, new strategies are hard work at first. And so it's really normal to internally tantrum about the transitions you're creating from time to time. It is overwhelming, but it really does only take a few weeks for these practices to become habitual. You won't really have to think about them too much and you'll be ready to add more tricks to your bag, I promise. The first few changes are the hardest. So stay positive. Change can take time. It can take 2 to 4 weeks or even 4 to 6 weeks to embed fresh knowledge and to be able to comfortably and consistently employ new strategies. Remember to believe in your child. Children do take several months to really learn their new way of functioning and for their old habits to be replaced by more constructive and appropriate strategies for getting their needs met. Please only change what's not working. Remember that although I have lots and lots of techniques that I share with you all, you know your child best, and you might have some other good ideas of your own. Remember, do take good care of yourself. It's really hard to put all our great parenting skills to practice when our own cup is empty. Parenting is unpaid labour without sick days or annual leave. And for those of us whose lives are very full of many responsibilities, such as our jobs or caring for older family members, it's really easy to get burnt out. So find out what fills your cup and make time for it, even if it's just 5 minutes a day. Reframing self-care as an essential task is part of skillful parenting. No matter how practiced we become, there will always be better and worse days, breakdowns and breakthroughs on our journey to being the kind of parent our kids need. And that's okay. We are here to play the long game, persistently practicing the kind of parenting that raises joyful, self-caring, confident, curious, compassionate young people who actually grow into wonderful community members and empowered adults. What gets us through our roughest parenting days? Well, I think it's the long game mindset, a ton of self-forgiveness, and the awareness that choosing to parent compassionately, peacefully, and effectively is the richest gift we can offer to the next generation. Thank you for following this YouTube channel and for liking these videos. See you soon.